conversations.
Well, my question's kind of connected. It's an incredibly sensuous and tactile and erotic film. I mean, we thought much more than many modern ones. I wonder how that relates to the lighting in particular. Or was it just the actors? And
Oh, I would give the actors
You
the
say it
full
was
credit
the
for that, because there was no inhibition. And Ken, he had got such a lovely eye and was prepared to take chances with what he did. Although I don't think it's ever offensive. I think he had a wonderful sensitivity, and the actors trusted him. And it was very interesting, this discussion we had on stage at the BFI, and somebody asked a question about how Ken related to the actors, and Glenda said, well, he knew what he didn't want. He didn't necessarily know how to tell you what he wanted, but he knew what he didn't want. So there were sometimes scenes where we did lots of takes. We didn't do a lot of coverage, like alternative angles. Once Ken had made up his mind on what the composition was, we'd very often stay with it, but he'd do a lot of takes until he got what he wanted. Whereas John Schlesinger, for instance, or Richard Attenborough were much more actors-directors who would just go over to the actor and very quietly say a few words, and the performance would be adjusted accordingly. It was a different style of direction. I mean, Ken was very visual. The visuals had to be right, and also the actors had to look right. He was very good at casting the right faces, and of course he had a certain repertoire of people who worked with him quite frequently. And I mean, he was obviously very enamored with Oliver Reed, who did several films for television, didn't he?
Yeah, and The Devils, obviously.
And the Devils.